Hello, and welcome to Easy English Conversation. I'm Sarah, and I'm here with my co-host, David.
Hey everyone, welcome to a very special, extra long episode. Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane.
That's right. We're going to be talking all about our childhoods, the games we played, the food we loved, and the little adventures we had. This is a perfect topic for learning English because it's personal, it's fun, and it lets us use a lot of different past tenses.
Absolutely. And don't worry, we're not going to get too focused on grammar rules today. Instead, just listen to our stories. Hear how we naturally talk about the past, and we'll point out some useful phrases along the way.
So get comfortable, maybe grab a cup of tea, and let's get started.
So Sarah, let's start at the beginning. Can you describe the place where you grew up?
I'd love to. I grew up in a small town in the countryside. We had a house with a big garden, and behind it, there were endless fields. I remember the sound of the birds in the morning. It was a very quiet and peaceful place to be a child. How about you, David? Were you a city kid or a country kid?
I was definitely a city kid. I grew up in a busy apartment building. My memory is full of the sounds of traffic and people talking downstairs. It was a different experience, but I loved it. I used to play with all the kids in our building in the courtyard.
I love that. I used to play. That's a great phrase, everyone. We use used to plus verb to talk about habits or repeated actions in the past that don't happen anymore. So, David, tell us about your family.
Well, I come from a big family. I have 2 older brothers, so I was the baby. They used to tease me a lot, but they also looked out for me. What about your family, Sarah?
I was an only child, so I spent a lot of time with my parents or reading books. But I was really close with my cousins who lived nearby. We would see them every weekend. We would see them is another way to talk about a past habit, just like used to. Okay, let's talk about school. David, what was your favorite subject?
I always loved art class. I enjoyed painting and making a mess, but I was not very good at math. I found it really difficult. My math teacher was a bit strict, and I remember feeling nervous in his class.
I was the opposite. I was really into science. I thought doing experiments was so cool. My best friend at school, Chloe, and I were in the same class every year. We did everything together.
That's so nice. I had a best friend too, Mark. We bonded over our love for video games. We would spend hours at his house after school playing on his computer. I wonder what he's doing now.
It's funny how those friendships shape you. A useful phrase there, we bonded over, it means you became close because of a shared interest.
Let's get to the fun stuff. What were your favorite toys and games, Sarah?
I was a big fan of creative toys. I had a huge box of Lego, and I would spend whole afternoons building houses and spaceships. I also loved my bicycle. I remember feeling so free when I was riding it around the neighborhood.
That sounds great. For me, it was all about action figures and trading cards. My brothers and I used to create elaborate stories with our toys. And I was obsessed with a card game called Magic the Gathering. I would spend all my pocket money on new cards.
I was obsessed with is a strong way to say you really, really liked something. Did you have any hobbies, like music or sports?
I took piano lessons for a few years. I wasn't very dedicated, I'm afraid. But I did play football for a local team. I wasn't the best player, but it was a great way to make friends. What about you?
I was a total bookworm. I was always reading. My mom used to have to tell me to put my book down at the dinner table. I also kept a diary where I wrote about my day. It's so funny to read it now. Okay, David, time for a story. Tell us about a clear, funny, or embarrassing memory from your childhood.
Oh, I have a good one. When I was about 6, I decided I wanted to be a barber. So I took my mother's sewing scissors and I gave my little teddy bear a haircut. It was a disaster. The fur was all uneven. Then I made the big mistake of trying to cut my own hair. Let's just say I had to wear a hat for a few weeks. My parents were not happy.
Okay, that's a classic. Okay, my turn. One summer, I was playing in the garden and I found a baby bird that had fallen from its nest. I was convinced I could raise it myself. I made it a little bed in a shoebox and tried to feed it bits of bread and water. Of course, my mom found out and called a wildlife rescue center. I was crying when they came to take it, but I learned an important lesson about nature.
That's a very sweet story. It shows you were a kind-hearted child.
We asked our listeners to send in their childhood memories. Here's one from Anna in Poland. What was a popular fashion or trend when you were kids?
Oh, great question. I remember a time when baggy jeans were in style, and everyone wanted t-shirts with cartoon characters on them. I had one with the dinosaur that I wore until it had holes in it.
For me, it was all about scrunchies for your hair. I had a scrunchie in every color, and wearing mismatched socks was briefly a thing, which my mom hated.
Let's reflect a little. How do you think your childhood has influenced the person you are today?
That's a deep question. I think growing up in a quiet place made me someone who appreciates peace and nature. And being an only child probably made me quite independent. What about you?
I think having brothers taught me how to be social and how to stand up for myself. And growing up in the city gave me a lot of energy and a love for crowds and culture.
Well, everyone, we hope you enjoyed this journey into our pasts.
We hope it gave you lots of ideas and vocabulary for talking about your own childhood. Your homework is to try it yourself.
That's right. Try to write down or tell a friend about where you grew up, a favorite toy or game, a funny story from when you were small.
Thanks for spending this time with us. It's been a real pleasure.
Keep practicing, and we'll see you next time on Easy English Conversation. Bye.
Goodbye.